Hey everybody, it's time for another story time, and we're still learning all about caterpillars, all about butterflies. And I've got our life cycle chart that we did together at our meeting. I've got it hanging up here because we're reading another book about how caterpillars change into butterflies. And we know pretty well now the life cycle of the butterfly. Remember, a life cycle is how something grows. So we start with the butterfly, and the butterfly lays an egg on a leaf, and then out of that egg comes a caterpillar. And after the caterpillar grows and grows and grows, it makes a chrysalis. And inside that chrysalis is where all the magic happens and where it turns into a butterfly. And out of the chrysalis comes a butterfly. And then we go around and again. And that's how we keep having butterflies. That's how they grow and how they make new butterflies. So this book is going to remind us of that life cycle, but it's also going to give us even more details and more fun facts about caterpillars and butterflies. So I'm excited to share this book with you, and I'm excited for you to learn all those new things. So let's get started reading, okay? All right, this book is called Caterpillar to Butterfly by Laura Marsh. And you can see that butterfly that just came out of its chrysalis. Very cool, huh? That one's very pretty. Lots of different colors on it. Oh, there's an up-close picture. How cool is that? You can see the butterfly's face right there. This book has some really neat pictures. Riddle. What starts as an egg, then walks on many legs, and then uses wings to fly? A butterfly. Beautiful butterflies. Ooh, look at all of the different colors of butterflies. Butterflies are fun to watch. They fly with loops and dives. Some have bright colors. Some have bold patterns too. So we'll see this blue one. It's very bright blue. That's a very pretty color. This one's black and green. This one has some patterns, like the book mentioned, with some stripes and dots and spots. All different, aren't they? 4 stages. It's also fun to watch butterflies change. They change a lot in their short lives. In fact, there are 4 stages in a butterfly's life. Remember, a stage is a part of their life? Let's check out those stages. I bet you already know. Stage 1 is the egg. Look at that egg up close on that little leaf stem. Stage 2 is a caterpillar. Stage 3 is the chrysalis. And stage 4 is the butterfly. And this is the monarch butterfly. I remember this is what the egg and the caterpillar, and I remember the green chrysalis that the monarch butterfly has. And this is what they look like. We read that in our last butterfly story together. Stage 1, egg. Whoa, look at all of those eggs that this mother butterfly is laying on that leaf. There are so many. A mother butterfly lays many eggs on a leaf or branch. Each egg is close to food. Caterpillar food, that is. What do you think caterpillar food is? It says the eggs are close to it. A leaf. Caterpillars eat leaves, so those eggs are right there close to their food they will need when they hatch. Butterfly eggs come in all different shapes. Wow, look at these eggs. So you have some round ones that look like balls. They're kind of red. Then you have these that are kind of oval shaped. Then you have these that are strung together in a line. And then there's a clear one, clear circle with some dots. How interesting that all of the eggs look different. I bet out of each egg will come a different kind of caterpillar. I bet the caterpillars look different, and I bet the butterflies will look different. That kind of reminds me of seeds. Seeds all look different too. And all the different seeds will grow different plants. So seeds and eggs are kind of alike that way. The eggs look different, and the butterflies and caterpillars that come out of them will look different. Stage 2, caterpillar. The tiny caterpillar bites a hole in the egg. It crawls out. The caterpillar is very hungry, just like the very hungry caterpillar, huh? The caterpillar eats its shell. Then it eats the leaf it's on. The caterpillar moves to another leaf. It eats that too. So there's the very tiny caterpillars. Oh, you can see that one's still in its egg. It's not quite ready to come out yet. And there's one, its little head sticking out. And there are the others. So they bite a little hole in their egg when they're all ready to come out. And then it said the caterpillar eats its eggshell. So that's the first thing that a caterpillar eats. How cool is that? That's something we didn't know yet. We knew that caterpillars eat leaves just like these guys. But the first thing they eat is their eggshell. And then they move on to the leaf where their egg was on. So these caterpillars have grown a little bit. They don't look like this anymore, huh? The caterpillar grows and grows. It gets too big for its skin. It sheds its old skin like a snake. You can see the skin right there. And there's some holes around where it's been eating. The new skin fits for a while, but then the caterpillar is too big for that skin too. Caterpillars shed their skin 4 or 5 times. Wow, that's a lot, huh? They keep growing and growing, and as they grow, their skin has to come off. Oh, look at this picture. You can see how the caterpillar is slowly starting to change. Stage 3, chrysalis. By now, the caterpillar is ready to rest. It hangs upside down. It sheds its skin one more time. The new layer is called a chrysalis. It is a hard shell. Inside the caterpillar is changing. It stays in the chrysalis for 10 to 14 days. So I see right there the J. Remember in our last book about the monarch butterflies, just like this caterpillar, they hang in a J shape when they're ready to make their chrysalis. And then you can see here their skin starts to split, and they have that new layer that's hard and called a chrysalis. And there you can see as their skin splits, it shrivels up and shows more and more and more of that hard shell that's their chrysalis. What happens next? The butterfly stage. Stage 4, butterfly. The chrysalis moves. It splits open. The butterfly wiggles out. Its wings are wet and crumpled. This is a great picture of the butterfly's crumpled, wet wings. See how soft they are? But look, that's the chrysalis. That whole butterfly had to crumple up and squeeze in to that chrysalis. So its wings are all wrinkled so it fit. So they hang there for a little while to let them dry out and let them spread. Blood pumps into the butterfly's wings. They get bigger and harden. The wings dry. Now the butterfly is ready to fly. Have a good trip, butterfly. So now you can see that's the same butterfly. Look how wrinkled its wings are there. And after it hangs a while, they smooth out. They get hard as its blood pumps all the way through. And it's ready to fly. Let's see what we learn next. Time for lunch. A butterfly doesn't eat plants like a caterpillar. It has no mouth. Wow, a butterfly has no mouth? I wonder how it eats then. A butterfly drinks nectar from flowers. We learned that word nectar with our last book. Remember, nectar is the juice inside of a flower, the sweet juice of a flower. It also drinks juice from fruit. A tube on its head works like a straw. Slurp. So if you look closely, you can see that black line right there. That is the tube that the butterfly uses like a straw to drink the juice. Let me tell you what that tube is called. That's called a proboscis. What a funny word, huh? Can you say proboscis? Proboscis, that's right. So that's what that straw-like tube coming from the butterfly's head is. And that's how they drink the nectar and the juice from fruit. Cool butterfly facts. Here's all kinds of stuff to learn. Let's start here. Butterfly wings are covered with tiny scales. How interesting. Kind of like a lizard or a snake has scales on it. A butterfly's wings does too, but they're made of different things, I'm sure. The world's smallest butterfly is the blue pygmy. It's the length of a pushpin from wing to wing. I have a pushpin with me so I can show you. Now I have to be very careful because it's pointy. This is what we use in our classroom to do our pokey pin activities. And it's this big. Look how small that is. And that butterfly is just that wide. That's really small, huh? Butterflies are found all over the world except in Antarctica and the driest deserts. Antarctica, I remember we learned about that. Do you remember what lives in Antarctica? Penguins live in Antarctica. So it's all snow and ice in Antarctica. Nowhere for butterflies to have leaves or nectar from flowers. And there's not many plants and flowers in the desert either. There are about 17,000 kinds of butterflies in the world. That is a lot of different kinds of butterflies. Butterflies taste with their feet. They have taste sensors there. How cool. So when a butterfly lands on a flower, it uses its feet to taste to see if it tastes good and if they want to drink it. Do we use our feet to taste our food? No, that's yucky. That's so gross. We use our tongues. Our tongues are what we use to taste our food. But a butterfly doesn't have a mouth or a tongue, remember? They only have their proboscis to drink from the flower. So they use their feet to taste. How interesting. One more fact on this page. The world's largest butterfly is the Queen Alexandra birdwing. It's as long as a ruler from wing to wing. I brought a ruler for you too. This is a ruler right here. And that's how big the Queen Alexandra birdwing butterfly is. That's really long. Look at that. Let me hold up my hand so you can see. From wing to wing. That's how big. That's like bigger than my whole head. That's 2 or 3 of my heads almost. That's a big butterfly. Wow, so there's some butterflies that are this small and some that are this big. Look at that. Look at the difference. Wow. Very cool, huh? Most of the butterflies we see aren't that small and aren't that big either. All right, let's find our spot. Keep reading. Back off. Caterpillars and butterflies are a tasty snack for predators. Now, a predator is an animal that wants to eat another animal. It hunts for other animals. Kind of like when we were learning about reindeer, we learned that the wolverine and the golden eagle are predators of baby reindeer. They like to hunt baby reindeer and eat them. And a polar bear is a predator for a seal. A polar bear likes to eat seals. Let's find out what likes to eat caterpillars and butterflies. Caterpillars and butterflies have tricks to keep predators away. Some hide using camouflage. We learned about camouflage. That's how they use to hide. They use to blend in. Like polar bears are white like the snow. See that butterfly blending in with the tree bark? It's so hard to see because it's the same color and pattern. Some can be deadly to eat. So this caterpillar has poison inside. So when something eats it, it poisons it. And that makes the other animal scared to eat it. Let's look at this one. That reminds me of a snake. Some look like other things. So that one looks like a snake, I bet, to scare away animals. They'll think it's a snake and they won't want to come near and won't want to eat it, right? Moth or butterfly? Some of us talked about moths and butterflies recently, and they look a lot alike. Let's find out about their differences. Moths and butterflies look alike. Here's how you can tell them apart. Let's see. Let's look at the butterfly first. Actually, we'll kind of go back and forth. So here's the butterfly, very colorful, and here's the moth. It's just kind of dull and brown. So the butterfly antennae are thin and have knobs at the end. So the antennae are the things that are on their heads. You can see how they're really thin. Moth antennae are slim to a point, and they look like feathers. See that? The butterfly bodies are slender. Remember, that means thin. We talked about, we were reading that book, 5 Tough and Tiny Seeds, that sat on a slender reed. That means skinny. So they have a skinny body. And moth bodies are fat and furry. Butterflies can be brightly colored, like this one. Now, some butterflies are not. We saw this butterfly back here that was brown. Right? This one's kind of brown. It's not very bright, but they can be. But moths are usually brown, tan, or white. Butterflies mostly fly during the day, and moths fly mostly at night. So when you see the what you think is a butterfly at night, it's probably a moth. So see if you can look and see if it's kind of brown or black or white. And if so, it's probably a moth, especially if it has a fat, furry body and feather-like antenna. Bring butterflies to you. You can bring butterflies to your backyard. Make a butterfly garden. But first, ask an adult for help. See the butterfly on the flowers? So some things you'll need are plants that bloom and make flowers, that have bright colors. You'll need a sunny spot for the flowers to rest, like a flat rock. And you'll need a little watery spot or a wet spot for the butterflies to drink some water. I have some bushes in my backyard that make pretty purple flowers. They're actually called butterfly bushes because butterflies love them. And last summer, when they were covered in flowers, the butterflies loved to visit and drink their nectar. So I can't wait for my flowers on my butterfly bushes to bloom so the butterflies will come back. What in the world? These pictures show close-up views of butterfly things. Use the hints below to figure out what's in the pictures. All right, let's look close. Here's our first picture, and it says, hint, a caterpillar starts here. What do we think that is? An egg. Look, it's laying on a leaf. Very good. Big changes happen inside this. You can even see it's starting to get clear, and you can see the wings. What do we call that? A chrysalis. Let's look up here. It's an all-day eater. So this thing eats all day. What do you think? A caterpillar. That one's really pretty and brightly colored too. Number 4, this is covered with scales. Do you remember? The butterfly wings. Butterfly wings are covered in scales. That's something we learned. It uses this to hide from predators. Look, you can kind of see that butterfly blends in with those flowers. Remember what that's called when they blend in and hide? Camouflage. And last picture, you won't find these on your head. What do butterflies have on their head? Antenna, that's right. Good job. All right, there we go. And here's some other pictures. So here's another picture of camouflage. This is talking about the nectar inside the flowers, the flower juice. There's a bird eating a butterfly. Wow, so that's one of the predators that will eat a butterfly. Birds like to catch them. And there you can see the stages of the chrysalis, making a chrysalis. The end. We learned so much about caterpillars and butterflies in this book. I learned that caterpillars eat their shell As soon as they come out, that's the first thing they eat. And then they start eating the leaves. I also learned that the butterflies, taste with their feet because they don't have mouths and tongues. And they drink nectar, which is the flower juice, through a proboscis. Remember, can you say proboscis? Good, and that's the straw, and it curls up. And when they're ready to drink, it straightens out so they can drink through it like a straw. We learned lots of things about caterpillars and butterflies today. Go tell one of your brothers or sisters or grown-ups something that you learned while reading this book, all right? I'll see you next time.